everybody, welcome back. Hope you all are taking care. Just recently I went up to the Gold Rocks Wilderness for a 2-night backpacking trip, and I had the opportunity to review this 4-season 3-person tent. But before I get into that, I just want to congratulate the following people who've entered the giveaway. So just shoot me an email at the email address right here, and I will send you the packets to you guys. So this is a Nature Hike Cloud Up 3 4-season 3-person tent, and this one came in the orange color. Now on the Amazon website, you can see that there are a few other colors, and actually the prices vary by color. And I believe on the gray one, the material is slightly different, so it is a little more expensive. But the one I tested and used for this trip is the orange $125 one. So the current specs on this tent are as follows on the screen. And surprisingly, it was, for a 4-season tent, it was pretty lightweight. I have another 4-season tent, which is a little over 7 pounds. But this one was about right around 5 pounds, which for the capacity, which is a 3-person, and you know, it's a bigger tent which uses more material, I was pleasantly surprised. But let's get on with the review. So as far as the exterior goes, if you've noticed, and according to some comments, this is very similar in design to a Big Agnes tent. So it is very similar, but there are a few differences, and I will go into that later as well. So first, the exterior. As you can see, it comes with these neon green cords, which are light reflective. They have these like nylon tags with a company name attached to the zippers. Now the zippers are not YKK, so I figured that the reliability on them may be questionable. But since I've only used it for a few nights so far, I haven't been able to make that determination yet. As you can see, there are Velcro points throughout the vestibule. And as far as I'm concerned, the stitching is very well done. Combined with this material, it is very effective against repelling water. Now there are a few guy out points on this tent, but for a 4-season tent, I felt that they were somewhat lacking. So there were 1 and 2 on the front side, and then there was 1 in the rear of the tent. Aside from that, you had additional stakeout points on both sides of the tent, on the left and right side, as well as in the rear. Now usually on a 4-season tent, it's meant to endure more than just rain. Sometimes it's snow, sometimes it's high winds. So I would have expected to see more guy out points, but unfortunately this one doesn't come with those. Now one gripe I have about the external design on these vestibules is this design right here, where the zipper comes out to this front side and protrudes out of the tent like so. And the reason for that is because in order to open the vestibule to get out of the tent, or to just open the vestibule, you have to reach over to open the zipper. Now there's been more than plenty of times where I've wanted to just open the vestibule to get out, and it was just felt like an inconvenience to try to reach over all the way and open it to zip out and to get out of the tent. Now it does have a tie-out point so that you can roll out your vestibule and tie it out so you can keep your vestibule open. But with that said, let's look at the inner tent. Now as you can see, this is a 1-entry tent with a D-shaped opening design. So this tent has 1 interconnected pole system. Now the interesting thing about this tent pole system is that all of these poles are interconnected into 1 bundle. And they're held together with this elastic band, which I do have a concern about in terms of the longevity and the reliability. Now these are aluminum poles, but they are not DAC poles. So although they did withstand some of the rain that we encountered, I do have concerns about the reliability of them as well. Now the poles are held close to the tent with these hooks. These are plastic hooks. They feel pretty durable and sturdy, but if by any chance you did come into a situation where one of these breaks, I imagine you can use right here this loop on this nylon band as an alternative. And as you can see, the design of the inner tent is mesh about halfway down, and then the rest is nylon. Now this is kind of peculiar for a 4-season tent. When I see inner tents on most 4-season tents, usually a majority of the tent is going to be covered in the nylon with very little mesh. Now the advantage of this one having more mesh is that you get more ventilation on the inside, through the inside, as well as it being a little bit relatively more lightweight. As you can see in the rear, it's a little bit lower. So the way the tent is designed is the footbox area is a little bit lower, whereas the head area is higher. So when we sit up inside the tent, in this side, we get more headroom, whereas that side is just, that's where we kind of put our gear in between us because we had a dog with us on this trip. As you can see, the inside is very spacious since this is a 3-person tent. As you can see, with me sitting down, there's still plenty of headroom. I'd say about 3 inches. Now, as you can see in the footbox area, there's even more mesh, which I imagine that's for ventilation. Now, with that said, the Rainfly does not have any ventilation holes in there. So once it is fully zipped up, it is going to be completely covered. Now, inside the tent, there is one hook to hang. What I did was I hung a lamp off of there. And there are a few pockets, but the thing was I felt that this tent was lacking the amount of pockets that we needed. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see, the stitching was a decent job. And in the corners where there is a lot of tension from the center pole, as you can see, there is double reinforcement as well. The flooring of the tent is tough flooring, which worked really well during the rainstorm that we had. During the thunderstorm, there would be some mud splashing from the outside of the tent to the inside underneath the vestibule, and it just splashed up to like right about here. So that did a great job of keeping that moisture out. But we did have condensation that did built in a little bit inside the tent on the ground area, but that usually happens on very wet climates. So that couldn't have been avoided. But as you can see over here, there was rain pools collecting underneath the tent that still did not penetrate through the floor. So let's break it down. Here are the pros of the tent. It is budget friendly, has plenty of room inside for 2 or even 3 adults, or 2 adults with gear. The cons of the tent. The poles do not seem as sturdy. The elastic band to hold the poles together do not feel like they would last. The lacking number of guide points make me feel that this would not be able to handle very high winds. Anyway, so as the time goes on, if it's not in an excessively windy or very heavy snowing area, I will probably bring this tent out and do some more tests. And I will do follow-up reviews on this test if necessary, if I notice any failures or anything else that stands out as being something I did not anticipate for this tent. I will put a link in the description below if you are interested. If not, totally fine. This tent is not for everybody. So if you have any questions in regards to this tent or this review, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below. Or if you've had experience with this tent and want to give anyone else advice, please feel free to enter that as well. This community, I believe, is very wonderful in being able to inform one another, in being able to make the best decisions possible to have the best time out there and outdoors. So with that said, so thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and even liking and commenting on this video. I do appreciate all of you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care out there, everyone, and be safe. Goodbye.